here. Oh, I'm surprised you actually passed that one up. I saw it, I heard it, and I was like,
well, here's the thing.
God.
Here's the thing. I gave you that as training wheels. So Crepo and I, right, are kind of the two pun masters here. Name puns are easy because they're always there. You see them all the time. It's really easy to prep for. It's the ones at the heat of the moment. So I'll give you the free ones.
I didn't prep for that one though.
I know. No, it's fine. But you see it and it just comes out.
Just lay it up for me.
It's like why I never make Prolly jokes.
Okay, too easy.
It's too easy. It's not even worth it anymore.
I didn't know you had a standard for puns.
Yep. Yeah, you wouldn't think I had a...
yeah, I'm actually
the floor is actually up here.
I'm really surprised.
Well, I do, darn it. Here we go, guys. Picks and bans starting up. My puns are awesome. These players were even better. Rengar Kassadin drops away against DNL. Golden Clue not one of the Kassadin himself. His Yasuo. The Gragas away from Rux, though. Certainly smart bans.
Yeah, the Kassadin was played to huge effect by Nubby Pooh Bear previously, so you want a blue side ban. That also means they're going to prioritize something else. I think Lee Sin is actually a first pick or ban here, because Inori and Santorin have great success on that, and Inori, being a red side player right now, will pick that up first rotation for his team.
Likely. Pick
ban against that player, and Santorin might steal away from him.
Well, we got to see then what DNL can pinch on the other side of it, though, if Lee Sin does become the priority, because you can always get something else good about that, like ban a counter to Braum and play Braum yourself. Maybe ban a top laner like Lulu, so not a lot really.
Starts with an L.
Yeah.
They all start with L's. Lulu, Great. Lucian, Lee Sin. Boom.
Well, two of them now removed from the pool, but Lucian is going to go through to Mash. He's going to have a great lane to start this one out. No support bans whatsoever, so these two guys get their pick of the litter. Support Daddy could first pick a support right here and say, hey, let's set up the bot lane for success.
Yeah, you could just do a Braum Lee Sin right now. There's a lot you could do here. They left you a ton of wiggle room with these bans. You can get a Twisted Fate for yourself. Nubby Pooh Bear likes to affect side lanes a lot. You can get an Orianna for him. There's a lot here. Yeah.
I feel like Ori's not the kind of pick you go for early on, though.
Yeah.
I agree with you. TF, I think, could be a very smart one if you think that's strong for your comp. I got to think about this, though, a little bit. Do they go for the Jace? Anda does play a fair bit of it. It's not the type of champion you need to pick that early, though, in a matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those champions. He would play at top, too. I don't know how familiar Nubby is with that, and he is just going to swap it over to Shyvana.
These are all very surprising to me, because, so, the thing to keep in mind is, of course, any match you play is a microcosm of League of Legends, because you know about your champions you like to play, you know about champions that are good in League of Legends, and you know what your opponents play and care about. Rux has been a phenomenal Shyvana all challenger long, so even though 99% of LCS games you'd be like, Shyvana's not even thought about in champ select, not necessarily even important for a team, this time it is.
Yeah, it was what he ended up playing the most in the Summer Series 1, playing that 3 times out of the 7 games that they played. So taking that away from Rux, because of course Team Coast had phenomenal success all throughout it. I mean, 6-1 record, nothing to, you know.
Yeah, nothing to shake a stick at. The Orianna does come through later on, though, for DNL. Corki in as well, so almost everyone in DNL picking their own champions. Coast going to match up what they can as well. The Ziggs in there for Golden Blue. Rux will match with Renekton in the top lane. And actually, Lee Sin didn't even get grabbed. It's the Elise there for Santorin.
Yeah, Santorin's going to go with the Elise. Played that more often than he did the Lee Sin, but apparently he doesn't care about an Ori's Lee Sin at this point. He wants to go ahead and allow him to have it, or something else. You know, they might have a plan up their sleeves here for DNL.
Well, that's the interesting thing, as Thresh comes through to fight against the Braum, and now the jungler pick required for DNL. I saw in the LCS earlier as well, Lee Sin just dropped by the wayside.
Yeah.
Like, the consideration has been for a while that Lee Sin was like the must-pick AD carry. It was like his own tier, or not AD carry, sorry, but jungler. And it seems like he's being passed up more and more in the recent past here. So maybe just a change of times for the jungle players here.
Yeah, I did talk to Santorin a little bit about tanky junglers. He's saying he really likes Elise right now in the meta. She gets a little tankier later on if you build some HP items because of the way that the golem is. But the boot, you kind of have to make a lot more conscious decision, because now there's no tenacity on the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Do you want to go cooldown reduction still? You'd have to go cooldown reduction boots and give up the Merc treads and not have that tenacity in a team fight. So there's a lot of different things here. Against this team, you don't really need it too much. There's only one thing you have to worry about in terms of tenacity. So he'll be in a good spot.
All right, well, we'll see what happens with these guys and what build he goes for. Santorin, you said he likes the Golem more than the Wraith. We've seen both builds, though, and the lineups are through. Inori will lock in Vi for his jungle picks. So only one of the top tier, the sort of top tier air quotes jungle picks goes through, and it's going to be the Elise of Santorin. The rest of the comp's going through. Coast looking very normal in their champions. This is the kind of thing you'd see all spring split long, for example. DNL eSports, a couple of new faces there. Of course, Braum, no surprise that he's popular now. Cork is still around. Orianna, Vi, just a couple of fresh faces.
Yeah, Rux there going with the Renekton. definitely not a fresh face on that champion at all. He just dominates with it to the point that he was buying a Trinity Force before. I remember those games. I'm surprised he didn't go with Aatrox too, because he loves that champion. It's very popular in Europe right now, but he loves Renekton as his baby.
Well, it speaks to, I think, their strategy then, because he's got basically the entire repertoire of bruisery top laners. Like a lot of the mage types went away. Ryze was gone, Lulu was gone. That's fine. But he's like, look, you could go Aatrox. You could, I believe, go Jax. I don't think he was banned. Yeah, Jax got nerfed in 4.11, but he's still strong. Or you had all these opportunities to play things like Aatrox, whatnot. He's like, I'm actually choosing to go for Renekton. So this speaks to me as wanting a lot of early game pressure, all the lanes to win. Ziggs, for example, another great one at that. First pick Lucian points to that as well. So early aggression, what I'm seeing here from Coast.
Yeah, they definitely want to crush all of the lanes with the help of Santorin. Look at that. Lucian, hyper lane aggressive bully, Renekton, same boat. When you're up against something like a Corki, which has mid-game power spikes, late-game power spikes, and then you have Shyvana in the top lane, same story. So there's actually a lot of aggression here from Coast that they can go ahead and take advantage of very, very early on.
See what they can do with this one. Maybe Pooh Bear, early on, puts a trinket down, Golden Glue.
That aggression, that's on his side of the line.
Yeah, he's going to see almost to that turret. Battle lines drawn though by AD carry supports, another sort of defensive trinket down there. Want to point out, by the way, Denial, my new favorite team in Challenger, they actually all put Flash on F, which is the correct button to put Flash on.
I don't know, F is for fire.
No, it's not.
That's why I used Ignite on it for the longest time.
As a jungler?
And now, as a jungler, it's for Fist, because it looks like a fist.
For the smite.
Because you smite it.
Okay. You could always rebind A and S as your as your summoner spell choice. And then the S could be for smite, and A could be for the A and flash. Flash!
It's a long A.
It is. Flash. Oh, sheep and mash.
Mash.
No. Oh my gosh. This is good. I don't want this one to stick around.
We had some pretty bad, because normally you go ahead and you combine the names of the bottom lanes.
Mash sheep.
It was Mash Sheep. And then we also had Maple Dodo from Teammate. Curse Academy was that Bunny Fufu and Impact. So it's Impact Bunny, Dodo, Maple Dodo.
Yeah, those are all really bad.
It's like a roadkill cafe in the Challenger scene. 80 carry bot lane.
Okay, they're going to stay alive. Santorin's got his little spiderlings with himself. Looks like no roadkill here. Just going to kill away some golems. That's going to stay safe for the man. No leash for him, though, whereas Support Daddy does help Inori a little bit. But both these junglers starting blue buffs. I mean, they're gonna end their routes on different sides of the map. Yeah, and I want to see how this pans out.
I actually like that Santorin has a green ward in his inventory because Machete's worth a little bit more. You can't get the pink that you normally want to go with, but that's going to allow him to be more aggressive. You think that wards are defensive most of the time. They're actually a very aggressive tool that you can use to make calculated decisions with Sheep.
Uh-oh, Stixie takes a whole bunch of damage. Heal burned already. Ignite is on. The first blood already happens. 2.5 minutes into the game now. Sheep's going to counterattack the Support Daddy. One more attack. It's played him back. Oh no, this could be 2 kills now. Support Daddy trying to run away. 110 health on him. Mash can't quite get a last Q out. It just comes back from cooldown. But already, Coaster winning.
They were trading back and forth in that bottom lane. We talked about the early aggression from this team. That was a level 1. Yep. Didn't even hit level 2. Just the play there from Sheep around his Flay cooldown was absolute perfection alongside the summoner spells and the usage of them in the bottom lane.
Beautiful stuff. Watch that one again. They thought they could kill Sheep with maybe the stuns, but they've got 2 extra caster minions right there.
Yeah, and the fact that he ignites him, flashes away, and Mash actually didn't hit him with anything there.
Nope, ignite damage did it.
Yeah, ended up flashing after it. Maybe you could have ended up killing it here, but it's just a reaction. You have no idea that would have happened.
Yeah. Mash also, he could have stayed farther north in that brush. So the thing is, he was trying to chase down expecting that maybe Sheep gets picked off, so he was playing a little more defensively there, but after the Flay, Mash could have, I think, eked out 1, maybe 2 more auto attacks by running north a bit more often, but honestly, again, you got to commend Coast for the great fight right there, picking the battle with 2 caster minions.
Boom, there's the aggression. Bottom lane is already winning a little bit. He's able to see where Inori is and get tabs on him.
Wow.
He's actually going to go aggressive.
I'm surprised he went that direction. He knew Inori was around. And what a beautiful, beautiful repel. Inori's going to flash. Q auto attack gets the kill. Santorin, perfect play. Inori, not the best.
Look at the aggression that came out just from that ward in his inventory and using it properly. You saw the level advantage there, 3 to 4. But at least Santorin had enough presence of mind to know what he could do against Inori and takes him down for pretty much half HP.
Great stuff there. So the Elise pick is going to work out for the guy. doing well in these fights. Of course, being forced back to base, and Nori got to buy some items. Spirit Stone's done for him, but you know Santorin's got plenty of money.
Yeah, here's the thing too, is Santorin can focus on those types of plays. When your other lanes are just winning naturally, you don't have to gank. You can go bully the enemy jungler, and now that you have his double buffs, go ahead and gank a lane, and at the same time, if you get countered, they're not going to be as strong.
There's the lane, and here comes Santorin. Q's on in. Gonna get the cocoon right there, support daddy. 300 health, couple more attacks to go, but here comes in Nori to chase it down. Santorin gets the kill with red buff, though, and out they go. Gets the doubles. Onto the AD carry. Stixay wants Mash. No, turns back for Sheep this time around. I don't know when his Valkyrie's coming back up, but level 4 is coming out. Damage still going through, and they turn back around because here comes Rux. Anda needs to match this teleport, and Nori is trying to put the damage down, but no, they actually stopped the teleport there. Didn't need it. They get a kill back.
Yeah, good communication there to know that he was going to be able to pick up the kill by themselves. Now Stixay has those double buffs. That's a death sentence.
Well, maybe if Sheep can land it. But right now, Stixay's got to be careful. 1v2, has to hide. That caster minions for cover. I'm surprised they didn't chase farther onto Mash, but and they couldn't quite pick up the kills in the chase, though. And I got to point out, though, as he recalls back, he's down 13 minions. He started Cloth 5, already lost all 5 potions to the Doran's Blade start of Rux. And this only gets worse, actually. Elise can now tower dive Anda. I don't know why he didn't just recall, but now Stixay tries to go for the fight. He looks for Sheep. 200 health left on him, though. They find the stun, but back goes Thresh. Ooh. Yeah, those Qs can claim. Yeah. Just beat death.
He almost has his E available.
There's the top lane dive.
Go for it. They got it.
Anda had free license to recall back and TP back into lane. I don't know. This is really weird for Denial. I just keep seeing these plays that you don't expect them to make mistakes with, but it keeps happening.
Yeah, the pressure from Coast is immense. They're going to blow all of their flashes here and dodge the cocoon, but Rux also flashes and slice and dices out of the turret aggro, so he's not taking any more damage, and Santorin picks it up and repels.
Yeah, Rux played that perfectly.
Minimal damage.
Absolutely. I mean, and you saw the turret changes in 4.11. They make, they basically will shred the first target really quickly, much more quickly than you might be used to. So the fact that he got out after about 3 attacks is pretty much ideal.
That's why junglers like Elise are, like you said, ideal, because you get tanky very early, and you don't have that extra damage burst from the path to Lizard Elder, but instead, you're tankier. You're tankier early, and you can repel turret aggro.
And you're seeing how nice this is now for Coast, because they're 5-1 in this game, up 1,800 gold basically just from kills. But now Denial want a way back in this game. Support Daddy pops E for the move speed to get into that fight a little bit sooner. He can tank it out anyway.
He doesn't really have enough for his ultimate just yet. He's a little short.
There's a smite, so Denial now back within 1,000 gold, and Golden Glue's ward says, well, it's dead. I don't know when. He assumes it's right about then, but you can't always guarantee it.
Yeah, as you see the Braum come back into the bottom lane, they'll most likely find the timer around that area. Blue buff being handed off to Pooh Bear, and the aggression from Santorin and the rest of Coast has just been spot on. They just let it up for a second and let the ward control fall to the wayside because the bottom lane was so low for so long and hadn't backed.
You know, this lane's going to have to get pushed out before too long. Phage there for both AD carries, and even though the CS is pretty equal, just the total number of kills that are on Coast's bot lane. You see the extra assist or 2 for Mashme, the kill, and the extra assist for Sheep means they're just ahead a small item each, and it's going to make life hard for Denial. That said, though, the mid lane, we talked about him a little bit, Pooh Bear is actually winning his matchup. 68, 56 in minions. That's the one thing these guys can rely on. This is a bait, though.
And Nori has his ultimate, the Assault Battery, ready.
They're trying to pick the fight, and they can't quite.
They might have some idea because the blue or the red side of the jungle in the north has been warded up by Coast, and they don't see a Nori doing it.
Good call. It's true. It's true. If you don't see camps gone, that negative information is actually incredibly valuable. And they kind of infer her location from that.
And you'll basically be like, all right, I know he isn't in the jungle, so I can go ahead and say he's anywhere but there, possibly in one of the lanes. And I know that blue was handed off. So just by deducing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Golden Glue, one hit, can't get away though. Here comes the Nori, here comes the Shockwave. Hits Santorin as well, but do they have the damage? Looks like not. Golden Glue gets out in Nori, 100 health and gets picked up there by the Ziggs. Ignite comes in, Pooh Bear wants this one. Flashes away from Elise, puts the shield down, QW. Oh no, dangerous game and level up. Keep Golden Glue alive. Rux now chasing Anda out of the jungle. These fights keep going Coast's way.
And they're gonna go ahead and get that red, but look at that Sheep.
What a beautiful hook. Stixay is going to be going down. Even Flay's support daddy out of the way so he can't block Mash Me anymore. And look at that, Culling 100 health left. They want
flash.
this.
Ooh, Sheep's taking a lot of damage. Ooh. So remember when Sheep was in the LCS for a while and people wouldn't let him have Thresh?
Yeah. Here's why.
I don't know if everybody does remember that.
Denial did not.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're in denial about how good his Thresh was. I don't
Not
think they would be
anymore.
after this. Because, damn.
Yep.
2-0-2 in the bottom lane, taking all these kills from his AD carry. But, I mean, MASH.
Those are his. He earned those kills for himself.
That's true. The Ignite.
He's preventing the steals from Mash Me.
This right here ends up going in, doesn't have vision of Santorin, and then pops out of nowhere, revealed by the Shockwave, and it's a little bit more than he could actually stomach.
Yeah.
When they go after Nubby Pooh Bear, he flashes to try and avoid the next bouncing bomb, and he does, but still not enough.
That was a cute move. He flashed so that Command Protect would deal damage to Golden Glue. I think it wasn't quite on the radius, so I think he missed the damage on it. But even if he did, of course, Golden Glue does live through that one. So back into live, though, one thing I got to point out as well, Inori walked through the entire minefield.
Yeah.
He actually took half on the way in, then like looped around the rest on the way out, and lost all his health.
Gotta pick up all the, ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, right?
Ooh, piece of candy.
It's like he's playing Jax. Like the game where you drop a thing, you pick up all the little pieces.
Is that a pinata?
No, it's like, have you ever like played the actual game Jax?
Oh, okay.
Jacks?
I just imagine Jax like bashing something open and picking up all the pieces.
Right, I understand that one.
I gotcha.
Man, Pinata's going to be fun for champions.
They die. Whee! Gold everywhere.
Prop gold everywhere. You got to pick it up.
Run around the ground.
Give you a champion passive. Instead of being worth gold when you die, you got to pick it up afterwards. You don't get 300.
That might actually be...
That'd be horrible.
The support could kill you, and then the AD carry's like, oh, nom, 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 nom.
Oh man, that'd be all kinds of weird. All right, well...
Or you just kill the guy and just leave the gold on the ground, and then the jungler just comes by and goes, whoop.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Right now, though, it's all about Coast clearing the gold. The old-fashioned way of killing people.
Speaking of the jungler coming by,
oh yeah,
Santorin was there, and he knows that that bush is pink warded, so there's no way they could have seen him setting up the gank. And there they go. Still hanging around.
Not happened just yet. Coast, though, still happy to make plays for the kills. They're up 3,000 because of it. Santorin goes around through a pink ward his team put down already. Spots an enemy ward. So that's 2 pink wards now, right like at the bottom lane river. Just making it easy for Santorin to get in if he wants to.
Yeah, and he sweeps, making sure that they don't see him coming through, but he already passed through the Dragon Ward, so Nubby's going to be on alert. I love this from Santorin because he's using the fact that you get a ward from the Spirit of the Ancient Golem now to invade.
Smites up for both. Outplay? Nope. Santorin gets it, and out goes Support Daddy and sticks it. They've got to be a little bit careful there. Mash gets some good damage down. And takes the Lantern, gets out. Santorin pushing Nubby Pooh Bear, saying, this is actually my jungle, thank you.
Blue's up. It's time to contest. Bottom lane, putting
Both
up the
supports.
aggression, making sure that they get some damage down, and that means you can win this blue fight very easily. Look at that. Support Daddy, it'd be very dangerous for him to contest right now.
Fighting the wards. Blue buff goes over to Santorin, so Coast continuing to play aggressively. Hook's going to land there. Braum.
That's a blind hook.
True. Nice shot, though. They're going to stay safe. There are some wards still on Dragon. That comes up in about 15 seconds. Coast knows the timer pretty well, to be honest. They warded right after it died. And it looks like they are pretty well prepared for that when it does respawn to keep their gold lead pushing forward. Mash to finish Trinity Force before too long. They keep pushing this bottom lane out. Denial do what they can to keep the lane under tabs, but there we go. Dragon's up.
Yep. And right now, Nubby, there's only been 1 kill on the map. It happened in the bottom lane. And what we've seen from Denial in the past is that Nubby has to be involved for there to be kills. He's going to get involved in this Dragon team fight. Nori's not around. It's going to be very risky.
Looks like there's no chance for them to stop this one. I think they ping it out. They kind of know about this, but there's not much to earn. Good ulti out from Ziggs. Doesn't get the cannon, but you know what? Clears the wave, keeps his turret safe. That's the important part. And he early picked Shyvana to deny it from Rux there. We haven't gotten to see the lane very much, just the one dive. And you're seeing Rux happy to just crush with Renekton, a 30-minion lead.
His choices of items, we talked about his Trinity Force before, Black Cleaver Rush.
That is a rare
from
one.
Rux.
It's not even like his team's that AD heavy. They've got Jungle Elise. But he really wants to beat his opponent up. I mean, Anda did rush Ninja Tabby, which is a strange build. I don't see that very often. And then he's going towards Randuin's or Sunfire next up. So I do understand the armor shred. It's just different.
It's not a typical Renekton build, and if we know anything about Rux, It's that he doesn't really do typical Renekton builds unless he feels like he's up against the wall and the rest of his team is going to go ahead and carry him for him. Rux doesn't like to be carried.
No.
He's against that. He loves carrying, and he'll eventually get tanky, but usually his first item is something along these lines.
Well, there we go. There's the beginnings of a Spectre's Cowl, maybe a Spirit Visage to tank up against Anda, but right now, there's just really not a lot of risk for the guy. 135 CS, highest in the game, despite being in this brawly top lane here. And he hasn't pushed the turret down, but he is growing the small minion lead there, plus the ganks. Golden Glue continues to hold the mid lane here against Nabi. These two have matched fairly equal. We just haven't seen them fight very much. It's really just been about this bottom lane constantly picking up kills. And the Dragon control whenever that respawns.
The roams from the supports heading mid right now. There are so many wards and inventories for all of Coast. There was a pink ward in the inventory of Sheep previously, but they all could possibly put one down on the map at this point.
Well, and Nori looks for another round at the top lane. Can he go for this one? Rux dashes out towards the turret. And despite playing so aggressively, Rux constantly is able to sense out these ganks or ward them as they come in and just hop out without any risk. It's great play by Rux. Again, the ulti just keeping the pushes. Denial have not found a way in on this game.
They've been trying to push turrets when people abandon those lanes, but they don't have the wave clear and they don't have the damage to turrets to deal with Ziggs.
They just don't seem to. You're right. There's no way to get in for these guys. Unfortunately, Inori just hasn't found the ability to do much. He's CSing all right. 68's a decent score, but 0-3-1 means the Vi just isn't on the map that often. Mash, I don't know if he needed to ult that. There's no way Nabi dies, but made him back up for a second. Mid lane outer turret did go down, making that the second here for Coast. And they are playing just aggressive enough to keep the pressure on.
Now Mash clearing out the wave, Golden Glue helping him out. It's so difficult to counter siege as Ziggs, especially with this composition. They are going to have to go all in with the Vi. They can wave clear a little bit with the Corki and the Orianna, but I feel like they're going to get poked over time. A lot harder to be able to return at this point.
See what they can do. Slow comes in towards Santorin Sport. They're really pushing forward. He wants this fight to happen. Just go for it. Ulti gonna hit Golden Glue and Santorin. There's the Lantern out. The rubber dust. He gonna keep it safe. Flash Q gonna miss. And nothing is found here for Denial. As you say, Rux has TP, but he's gonna walk it over with his Renekton body. And minions go down. Coast do not get found for the Summoner spells, and the ulti's burned.
And then they can go ahead and re-engage a fight, and he won't have those available. They're gonna get the top turret for free at the same time.
Now look at that. Coast continuing to make the right moves, playing just right for all of these. Mid lane tier 2 rapidly losing health as well. This siege working quite nicely for Mash, Golden Blue, and the rest. For those the guys hitting the turret themselves.
Look at level 9s on the AD carries right now, and they're already grouping up and pushing as 4 or 5 people. They're trying to end this game early and play their composition strength of this early game aggression and not let Corki reach power spikes. And same thing with Shyvana, keeping him completely shut down.
Well, they're just trying to push the health bars down, and that's going to happen there. Team Coast going to get another major objective. All Denial's gotten all game is one dragon they grabbed early on and one single kill as part of a trade. And
Nori is so weak right now.
Oh my gosh, that's so rough. This is half his health from a simple combo from this Renekton.
Yeah. He's 0-3 and he went for a Brutalizer second item. Instead of that tanky and being a little more defensive, he's trying to build damage for the team. But I don't think that's what they need at this moment.
I agree. I think they need a way to actually just force engages, maybe catch someone out in a 5v4 or 4v2 or something like that. And the ability to dive is just so useful. But Inori can hopefully make this happen. But as we talked about, he's one of the players who came more or less fresh out of solo queue. These types of situations are just going to be more rare for a player like this. And sometimes you just make the wrong choices. If it pays off, then I'm wrong. But typically you want to have some kind of front line here. I didn't know you could do that.
Wow.
That's cool.
That was awesome.
It makes sense. I just didn't know you could do it.
Wow. So that's how you can clear a wave and just save time as Lucian.
Yep.
Mashed me. Today I learned.
Do you know you can recall mid-rocket jump as Tristana?
Yeah. We saw that earlier today.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that someone else had done it, but I just do it every time, so it didn't like stick out to me.
Your facts are weak, Phreak.
What? It's still true. The fact isn't weak.
We saw it earlier today.
Okay.
Nope. Not new to me. Doesn't
Good.
count.
Well, I'm glad you watch LCS. It's like you're a professional commentator for Riot or something.
And I'm glad you don't.
Wow.
Because you didn't see that moment. It was clearly on screen.
I was setting up something else. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I was. Shh. Team Coast still controlling this game pretty successfully. Moving on, transitioning into the game itself, which doesn't even involve Tristana. 7,000 gold lead. Coast still haven't found any kills for a while. DNL have played a lot more defensively, trying to defend their turrets, but the problem is it's not really worked for them. Coast have taken 2 turrets in the last 2 minutes or so. Dragon's back up. DNL. They're trying to fight for it. Santorin takes a whole bunch of damage, but Support Daddy getting picked up anyway. Half HP. Santorin chasing down. There goes Braum. Shockway's going to hit a few, and more kills are flooding in for Team Coast. They've now grabbed Anda as well. Shyvana ulti played back. Flashes the wall, but this is not great for the Mash, pushing down on a Stixay now, who has nowhere to go. Flashes the wall. Red Buff claims that Mash is on a killing spree, 11-1 for Coast.
Amazing TP in there from Rux, and the great pickups afterwards. Going to reward them with multiple kills. 3 members, 1 very low as well, and they're going to get this Dragon off the back of it. Coast, they're looking in top shape. At 20 minutes in, they're about to have a 10k gold lead, or very close to it.
These guys are absolutely dominating this game. Great play, and it's all... I don't even want to say it's all, actually. It's not all, but it's largely from a phenomenal laning phase by outskilling their opponents.
Yeah, Inori is just so squishy right now, and they end up getting extremely low to the point he has to flash, but they went hard after him. Rux dedicated to taking him out, and the rest of the team. Santorin flashes out, but the fight continues, and there's a great play here. After he pulls Anda back, immediately says, you're not going anywhere unless you're blowing flash. Mash with the follow forward, and then the red buff tick onto Stixay after the great bouncing bomb. Just the amount of damage that they have and the advantage that they have and the way they're pushing it is amazing from Coast right now. They definitely look like they are a challenger team that needs to be feared by the other contenders.
Well, they won last time. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be pretty fearful of these guys. DNL drawing the short straw, didn't go high enough in rank 5s, and they seeded into these guys first round. And life is now pain when you're DNL Esports here, doing what they can to get themselves in, but...
It's a challenge. It's a struggle.
Yep. Well, they call it the Challenger Series for a reason.
It's not the struggle series.
Nope.
It's a little too crude.
No. But right now, it's actually the case for DNL. It's a struggle to get themselves back into this game. Down 9,000 gold as Coast continue to make good choices. 4 turrets down so far. Now I want to see what they pressure onto next. Top and bottom tier 2 turrets are available. Teleport. Gonna take some time before Rux gets it.
Inori's just messing around, and there's gold and blue. But Rux is there as well.
Well, you're seeing the build from Inori. He takes out half of his health. Uh-oh. Well, goodbye. Loses all of it back. But you can see he takes out half of Golden Blue just by himself without his ultimate. And so you're seeing the glimmers there, just it's not enough.
Yeah, they definitely need more coming into this. And Coast, speaking of more, the last time we saw them drop a game against Curse Academy, they had only been together for about a week because Santorin was new to the roster. Sheep had just jumped on after they replaced, I think it was Daydream and Wiz Fusion, and Mash was back on AD carry after having him in jungle.
Yeah.
So this team has had a lot of new time to synergize this new roster. This newfound space, newfound synergy, they're definitely looking very good. I've said it multiple times, but it's definitely true. 22 minutes in, 11k gold lead.
Absolutely. These guys are playing a great game of League of Legends right now. Santorin, you talked about him being the new jungler. 4-1-4, doing so much for his team, but really down the line. I mean, any of these scorelines is impressive. Even though we haven't seen Rux's lane very much, he's been exactly what his team needed him to be. Hey, be aggressive in your lane, keep Anda from being able to roam out, pressure the turret, and then just show up for team fights, be a tanky man. That's worked so far. Coast, all around, they had the plan, they got the... Nope, good smite. But Inori's out.
It's not going to happen for Blue, though, which just came up, so it's automatically just going to go over to Coast.
Yeah, not much threat here. Take their time, picks it up. There you go.
0-5 on Inori. Basically 1-5.
4 damage. He's going for a Triforce.
Yeah. 1-5 in that combined bottom lane, though. Between those 2 points on the map, they've just been bullied so hard. We saw the first blood going down in the bottom lane in just the 2-on-2 straight up, and then the jungle was invaded, and here's a pink ward right there.
Oh dear. Yeah, they're like, oh, this was
It's awkward.
a risky play. They're gonna try anyway, but I don't know if they have really any good ways out.
Coast is on the other side of the map, and they don't really have the time to do this.
No, there's no way they can keep that down. There's no way. So out they go. They walk away. At least they don't really lose much about the Shyvana ulti, which isn't too expensive. But Coast did a good job of keeping wards down. That's one of the things you do. Just because pink wards are permanent, you just like leave a pink ward on Baron. Not for things like that, but just because anytime they do ward it, you can sweep it out and keep the pressure on.
It's actually a decent play because it pulled them off of that bottom tier 2 turret.
Yeah.
Which Coast would have been happy continuing to push. They had to go check Baron. They were forced to.
Fair point.
Play.
Well, I gotta say, you know, again, they didn't lose much, and hey, good job by DNL to try to get themselves back in. But the problem is, the game continues to slip away. Coast continuing to play very nicely, and they have claimed that top tier 2 is a little while ago. Bottom, of course, was stopped thanks to that Baron attempt. But now they're going to start setting up this top jungle, killing any wards they see, sweeping out what they can. Sheep can actually reach that ward over the wall, much to the chagrin of everyone else.
Oh, Inori just laughing in the bush. Sheep can't hear it, though.
Very soft laugh.
Why are those bushes laughing at me?
Why is it female? It sounds like bye. Wait a second.
Inori backed when this is being done, so he's no longer in that bush. He's no longer able to contest this.
Now just going to give it up. They know. I mean, they got to know the attempt is available because it's dark there. It's not like they watch like the roots in. They say, you know what? Yep, these guys, they earned the Baron. Going to back off of this one. Anda pushes as much as he can before saying, you know, they could gank me. I'll peace out. But DNL have just been unable to make aggressive moves. Completely not able to do anything here. And Coast just controlling this from start to finish. Their lanes were good. They managed to control the objectives well. They somewhat take their time with these pushes occasionally. Right? It's not a 21-minute surrender or anything, but certainly 25 minutes, not exactly late game here, so Coast continuing to pressure on as best they can. Baron's in there. They can close the game off that.
Yeah, they have a lot of cards in their hands, but you know, we've seen people get rid of leads like this before unintentionally. Take them multiple slip-ups. But it's still possible considering the late game team comp of DNL. They will scale a little better, but Coast's game plan was not to give them the chance to scale, but they're going to go after Mash right now.
Oh, he didn't. There we go. Ulti does come through onto Masher. They have the damage they require to kill him, though. Looks like he's going to walk away, and Inori can't find the turret. He gets soloed out by Mash. No, Anna gets caught up by a Cocoon. He's got nowhere to go. Tries to TP out, but the rubber ducky comes out from Golden Glue, stomping it out. 2 more kills to Coast. This is not good for DNL.
Yeah, DNL look like they're lacking organization right now. They're lacking how to counter Coast, who is a team that has a lot of good infrastructure in them. They have a coach. They have really, really good players in solo queue. They have synergized as a team. They are looking very strong, and they are one of the reasons that we do the Challenger Series in the first place. We find great contenders like this.
Look at that one. Just gets all the damage down. Crits one of them.
It's an amazing play there. He tries to TP out. Last-ditch effort. He actually gets stunned up first by the Ruthless Predator, and then rubber duckied and clay pigeoned by Rux in the air.
Yep. That's good aim.
I
If
know.
a dragon is something like getting pushed around by explosions, you can still shoot him.
Sliced it in half, though,
Yeah,
as it was flying past him.
that's true. All right, now though, DNL. At this point, I feel like you sit back and you start licking your wounds. When you think about what do we do for the next game, you take this time as...
Well, Nori has 3 long swords, so I don't know how much he's...
Maybe it's Ruin King, but like at this point, it doesn't really matter anymore. Nori couldn't win a 1v1 against anyone except maybe Sheep, and even that might be close. So you just know life is paying for the guy. But I think at this point, as DNL, you sit back and you say, okay, what do we do differently next time? We're going to be blue side. Maybe the bands change around a little bit. What do we really respect here? What don't we? To be honest, the Shyvana steal didn't seem to do very much. I'm very surprised that was actually the choice made there.
You also have to think about how did we lose just flat off in the first 4 minutes?
Laning.
Because that's what happened. It was the laning and then also the invade on the jungle. So what do you do to counter that? Do you put wards inside of that little bush in the river? Do you put the wards at like the 4-minute mark? Do you play winning lanes? Because they played pretty scaling. Yeah. And Coast said, nope, we're not going to respect that. We're going to crush you in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think champions like Lucian become higher priority. I think Ziggs gets banned to remove safe champs from Golden Glue because Nubipuber is the one lane that held up.
Yep.
That was the one lane that held up against a Ziggs of all champions, which is already a great laner. So
they're going hard
here.
Now or never.
Well, can they get the damage output? They're going to get some here. Support Eddie very low on health, but in comes Anda, 2 for 0 so far. Corki fires 1 back, but the health bars are just a little bit too big for Coast. Nubipuber does go down to Santorin, and now it's only 6A alive. Golden Glue still being chased around, but it's not going to be enough there. Flashing tries to make the play. Anda's still coming around for that one, but more and more kills come through. The repel in Santorin even stays alive. Maybe gets a shield, kind of kiting him around. Anda's really durable, to be honest. They're trying to break him down.
Slowly but surely getting there. Rubber ducky into him.
And there we go. Kill picked up. Ace comes through. Rux was topping the whole time.
Man, Rux City is a pretty lonely place.
Population 1.
Yeah.
Inhibitor is gone. Minions don't count. They're not real people. Sorry, Minion fans.
Man. Yeah, all those Minion fans out there.
Minions can't vote. They don't have minimum wage.
And we treat them pretty poorly.
Yep. No one gets tried for murder when they kill them all the time.
Damn, that's
that's
deep.
I'm just saying.
In fact, you get to steal their money. You're encouraged.
Yeah.
All right.
All these things encouraged, but this time around, Denial realizes they've had a little bit too much this time. 29.5 minutes in, Surrender comes through 19-2 for Team Coast. Commanding win, great lanes, great game.
That's how dominating a force Team Coast is currently in the Challenger scene. They are the champions of the first Summer Series. Right now, they're pretty much 1 or 2 in terms of power rankings.
Sure.
And right there up against Denial, who's basically just getting onto the radar right now.
Yeah.
They could be a better team in a couple of months if they stick together with the roster. Because that's a problem, too, is people change rosters all the time. They try to fix parts. They say, this bot lane isn't good enough. Let's throw it out, find a new one. But if you just stick with one and just hone it, get a coach, get infrastructure, and just make it better, I think that's a lot better than doing that.
There's a whole mix of things you can do that do and don't work. I mean, Coast, for what it's worth, Coast went and kind of rebuilt a new team, and it worked for them. So, I mean, either approach can work out, to be completely fair with all this, but Coast have put together a pretty damn good lineup. A lot of great players there. The synergy getting better and better over time. As you mentioned, their only loss in the Challenger Series was because the roster had just come together, and they've only gotten better since. So, down the line, lanes looked good. I think we talked about the game enough because we saw it from start to finish, controlled game, whatever. I do want to get back to the point, though, about what do you do then when you're Denial here, because they eventually surrendered the game. They eventually realized they had enough. What had happened, and again, you saw because like Inori started buying a bunch of long swords, like they were kind of checked out of the game, eventually they surrendered. I think they spent the time discussing what do we do differently now? What do we change for game 2? What picks and bans do we do? What strat do we go for? And I think they reset and they find a new plan.
They have to find a new plan. It has to be something completely different than what they just attempted. Whether it's we're going to ward here at this time, we know that this is what they're going to go for, or we're going to just completely change our picks around, because they have to change pretty much everything coming into this. And they may put everything on the line, just be like, we're going to play our favorite champions, we're going to go ahead and go at them full force and do what we're good with. And they might come out with a solo queue team, they might come out with a big strat, but I mean, I think Coast can pretty much answer everything that they have right now. You'd have to catch them really off guard. Yeah, that's the thing. It's unlikely there's like an easy fix here in Champ Select. To me, it's like, look at the mid lane. Like maybe let Huber win one of these matchups. Find a matchup where he wins one-on-one. The other side of it, though, it's not like Braum Corki's a bad lane. Like those are two of the better laners overall. I don't think they necessarily get hard countered by like Lucian Thresh or anything. Like both are pretty good lanes. Shyvana Renekton is an old school matchup that you're used to being like, well, you're going to be down 15 CS, but whatever. So none of that was like supposed to lose in Champ Select. Even just in the laning phase, like that shouldn't have been too bad. Unfortunately, it still didn't work out. So it's something you got to look at and find something that does work. Well, it's Sheep's Thresh. Yeah. And Mashmi's Lucian. They got a kill level 1. They didn't drop any kills on themselves, and they almost killed Support Daddy at the same time, which freed up the jungle, and then just started snowballing from there because the double buff refresh and then giving it back and forth. Just a lot of pressure on that bottom lane early because they had a winning top lane, and they're like, you're just going to go even mid lane and then show up to team fights and wave clear. Actually, they will show up to him in mid while he's wave clearing was pretty much the strategy. Yep, aggression from Coast worked out. They played awesome. Now, Zirene, he's unfortunately running very low on mana, so as we buy a Chalice and rejuvenate for a couple of minutes, we'll be back, though, for Game 2 between Denial Esports and Team Coast, so don't go anywhere.